Hey everybody, I'm Jamey, aka The Terrible Shine of Supermarcy.com, and welcome to my video review of Oscar-winning director Clint Eastwood's latest film, Sully. So let's get right into it. Now, of course, for all those out there, the film Sully, of course, is based on real-life airplane pilot Captain Chesley Sullenberger, who was the man behind the Miracle on the Hudson event, which, of course, was, I guess, to kind of, explain what happened back in 2009. While flying a plane, Sully's plane actually, one of the engines was taken out by birds. So rather than sort of taking the plane back to the airport where there was a possibility that the plane would crash along the way, he decided to land the plane in the Hudson. Now, there was a chance that something could go wrong, but by an astonishing miracle, everyone on board survived. And it was just, as I said, classified as a miracle. And this film, I was kind of interested to see how a movie version of this event would play out, because it was such a big event that sort of was played out over the news and whatnot, and I'm thinking, was it kind of something that really needed to be made into a movie? But when I sort of read into what the film was going to explore, besides the actual event itself, it was going to explore the aftermath about it, because after the event happened, Sully had to go through different courts and tribunals and all that, just so they can find out what happened, and also delve into whether he could have made it back to the airport safe and sound, and him trying to prove that they wouldn't, and it was interesting in that regard to how the film kind of explored sort of the aftermath behind it, because we never really get to see that. And I know for a fact that it's kind of condensed down for the film, but I know all the things that happen with the sort of the investigations and the publicity and all that about into the crash went on for about 18 months or so. So the film kind of condenses down for a bit. And so we kind of get to see what's going through Sully's mind as all of this is going on, and him kind of questioning whether he did the right thing or not. In his heart, he knows he did the right thing as a captain, but wherever he goes through the investigation, he's kind of questioning that, and whether maybe he could have landed the plane back at the airport, but him trying to explain to everyone that that possibly would not have worked. So the film kind of delves into that, and I thought the film, for most part, actually did a really solid job of that, in that regard, because I'm always interested to see how all this stuff, any kind of big major event or whatnot, how a film kind of deals with the aftermath behind it, and how it affects everyone involved. And in that regard, yeah, it was really interesting and quite engaging. And of course, to me, what really made this, one of the main things that made this film work for me, was Tom Hanks in the role of Sully. Tom Hanks is one of my favorite actors, and there's a reason why he's such a beloved icon of the big screen. He is a man who is the everyman. He's somebody we always immediately identify with, and we can't help but, and he knows how to sort of get us sucked into the lives of whatever character he's playing. And here it's no exception. He does a really great job in the role of Sully, and we can't help but feel very compelled by everything that's happening to him in the film. And director Clint Eastwood does a really good job directing-wise. I'm not going to say this is one of his best films. I know it's got a lot of raves and whatnot, and I'm not disagreeing with all the raves that this film received. But I don't think it's but I've been hearing a lot of people say that this is one of his best films in quite a long time, and to be honest, I don't necessarily agree. I like the film, but I don't think it's as amazing as everyone's made it out to be. I think it's still a really good and solid film. But I'm going off track here. But in terms of direction, though, I think Clint Eastwood, I've always admired as a director, is that he takes a very sort of, very classical kind of sort of less is more approach when it comes to his direction. He definitely comes from the old school style of filmmaking, from the early years of Hollywood. And you always see that in a lot of his films. And some people have problems with that, but for me, that's what I really like about his work, is that classical touch. And this film here is no different. The film is really well directed. The actual crash itself is so intense and really well handled that even though you know what's going to happen, you still feel very tensed up about it, and that was definitely one of the great scenes in the film. And also, like, his handling of the actors was really well done. I mean, Tom Hanks great as usual, but also Aaron Eckhart is really good in his role. Laura Linney, even though she's not in the movie as much as she could have been, but she does solid work. And also, I also really like all the sprinkling of well-known character actors who pop in throughout the film, like Jamey Sheridan, Anna Gunn, Jerry Ferrara, and so many others all give solid work as well. And like, in terms of sort of negatives, like I kind of stated before, like, I don't think this is one of Clint Eastwood's best films. And in a lot of ways, I kind of feel, as much as I think it's a film that's worth seeing on the big screen, but I can't help but feel like, for me personally, this film probably would have played a lot better on TV, like, as a TV film. Because other than sort of the big sort of crash sequence, it's not very much a very cinematic type film. It kind of feels more, since a lot of the film is set in boardrooms and courtrooms and tribunals and stuff like that. I mean, not tribunals, but, like, you know, invest in all that in motel rooms and bars and whatnot. Like, it doesn't feel as cinematic as it could have been. And to me, it did feel kind of like a TV film. And I'm not saying that as a negative, because, you know, there have been a lot of great TV films over the last few years. But I feel like this film probably would have worked better on TV than, say, on the big screen. But that being said, though, the movie does look great, and the crash itself, as I said, is great. And also, there were some aspects with the screenplay I felt were kind of underdeveloped, because we also get kind of little bits of Sully's life growing up, like little scenes here and there, like why he wanted to become a pilot and whatnot. But those scenes, to me, like, yeah, they kind of add to the character and his story, but they weren't really necessarily needed for the film, and they could have easily been taken out. And it's funny, though, how short this film is, because the movie's only just over 90 minutes. So I suppose if some of those scenes were taken out, the movie would be a lot shorter too. Like I said, it's with its short running time. I guess I give the film credit for one thing, is that having a very short running time, like, it's not a film that overstays its welcome. Like, it tells the story that it needs to tell. It doesn't sort of add too much onto it to kind of just space out time. I mean, other than the sort of the flashbacks and all that, like when Sully was younger. But I also do give credit for, and also for the script taking a non-linear approach, because the film already starts off post the crash, and then we kind of get little scenes here and there, flashbacks to the events leading up to the crash, and of course we get the big crash, and then of course the outcome after that. So, but overall, I think it's a really solid film from Clint Eastwood. Like I said, it's not one of his best, but I thought it was still pretty good. I'd say it's worth a watch for sure. But of course, it's worth checking out for Tom Hanks, who's just always great. So if I had to give Sully a rating, I give it a solid 3.5. So yep, that's the end of my video review of Sully. I hope you guys all enjoyed it, and I'll see you all later. See you guys.